right, ladies and gentlemen. So in my chart in my writer's notebook, I jotted down a few things about what the author tells the readers and what the author does not tell the readers. So when we as fan fiction writers begin to think about writing a prequel to a story, we really want to be mindful of what the author has said, what they have not said, and this column, our middle column, what the author does not tell us, that leaves the reader a little more curious. And this column here may begin to drive our prequel. So, as a reader, while I was reading the first few pages of Warm Bodies, I started to think, well, how did they become zombies? Why do the characters have no memory? And what was the world before all of this? Why did the world turn into a zombie world? What happened to the people? So I'm starting to think about how I can possibly create a sense of understanding for myself, because these are my questions. These are the things that I'm wondering about. And me, as now a fan fiction writer, I have control over some information here. I have freedom and control and authority to write my prequel however I want. So as a writer, I'm thinking I may start to go along and kind of maybe talk about this moment where kind of give my readers some more information about the world before, to kind of give my readers some answers. So I'm starting to think that I may write about what R, because remember, that's our character. He's known as R for right now. What R was doing before he became a zombie. And I may actually tie this back together with he wore nice clothes. So I may tie this back together. Maybe he was in an office building when he became a zombie. Maybe he was in the middle of working and all of a sudden zombies came through the door and tried to eat him, or I don't know. I'm just kind of brainstorming right now, kiddos. And again, I'm doing this with really no expectation other than just brainstorming. So again, my notebook and my thoughts might be a little unfinished, might be random. My thoughts may not even make total sense, but that's okay because I'm still in the brainstorming stage where my writer's notebook is a place where all of those new, fresh ideas can live. Okay. Something I may also want to explore is, the world before. Kind of, tell my readers why zombies came to be. So I'm starting to think maybe there was a chemical explosion that turned everybody into zombies. Maybe pollution had something to do with these characters being turned into zombies. Maybe medicine turned them into zombies. I'm not really sure yet. I'm still kind of brainstorming. But I'm thinking one of these options, I may go down one of these avenues. So I'm just going to pause and think for a moment and try to figure out which out of the three ideas I have that I may want to explore further. Okay, so I'm starting to think that I may actually want to go down this pollution avenue, because we know that pollution is becoming a problem in the 21st century, and pollution has something that we as a society have been trying to fight, become more green, help our earth, stop or slow down global warming, become more mindful of the way we're treating the earth. So I think in my story, I'm going to go down this avenue where pollution is a big problem and it was never really addressed. And unfortunately, because we never got our pollution under control, that turned the world into zombies. So I'm going to start a little bit of writing and then I'll show you what I have. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So I stepped away from my notebook for a little bit just to kind of think a little bit deeper about the direction I was going to go in with this idea of pollution and how it affected the world, which then created this new world of zombies. So I started to think, and I jotted on a Post-it note, what if our main character, was a scientist that was fighting pollution, and while that was happening, he was trying to create a vaccine to end zombies. So in my mind, I'm thinking that pollution is going to be a big, big problem. And I'm going to make this a couple of years in the future, maybe like a couple of decades, and where pollution is becoming a huge problem. So as a scientist, art is trying to fight pollution, trying to come up with better ways to take care of the earth. But along the way, pollution got so out of control. There were too many chemicals, which then had a reaction to humans, and humans started to become zombies. So now I'm thinking R is going to take on another role and try to figure out a way to end the zombies by possibly creating a vaccine. So I started writing. So I would like to share with you what I have so far as a fan fiction writer, where I am again writing a prequel. Okay, so one way to write fan fiction again is by writing prequels. And again, this is just my start. I am not done. And I did this in one sitting. And again, this place is where all of my new ideas are going to live. I may change things later on. I will probably be doing a lot of revisions and edits, but I'd like to share with you what I have so far. Dark, cloudy smoke filled the air. The oil and green scum from cars were nothing new. This was the way of life in 2050. So in my opening, I'm trying to use descriptive details like dark, cloudy smoke, green scum. So I'm trying to create a nice opening for my readers so that way they can possibly visualize the setting. Okay. And I'm also establishing the year we are in, which is 30 years from now in 2050. It's getting worse out there, I told Jack, while out of breath from running 10 blocks. I took off my lab coat and set it down on my chair, heading over to check the concoction of chemicals in a vial. The test tube sat in the freezer overnight. No, the dirty city was not new, but the living dead, the once human bodies that are now decaying right before our eyes, yes, those are new. Zombies. Thank you, pollution. So this is what I have so far. I did not give my character a name yet, but I'm thinking I'm going to establish his name in the next couple of lines right before I move on to my next page. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to go back to our graphic organizer, our chart, and begin writing our prequel for Warm Bodies.